guys, and welcome to the first video of Shit Is Getting Real. My name is Nafisatu, but most people call me by Nafi, my nickname, or Nafi, depending on who you are. I was born in the United States of America, but I was raised in Senegal. I was raised in Senegal until I was at the age of 8. Then my parents moved us back here to Houston, Texas. So disclaimer, this is my first video and I might be a little nervous. I might here and there, or just, take a pause or look down at my notebook because I do have notes on how to keep on track and tell you guys more about myself. So yes, I was born in the United States of America and I was raised in Senegal. So I do have a dual identity. I am African American. I also am African. Having a dual identity is very, very, very hard to keep up with because it's like you're two different people, and different people is difficult. It's like you're living two different lives basically. You gotta switch up the accents. You gotta keep the languages intact. It's a lot. I know a lot of people out here that have dual identity. A lot of us Africans, every African, in my opinion, has a dual identity living in America. I am a junior in college, and my major is psychology. There's multiple reasons why I chose that major. I chose it in the 8th grade. I'm very, very, very passionate about my major. The reasons why I chose it have impacted my life in a big way. So when I was about 13, yes, 13 is when you start high school. Freshman here. I was a freshman in Texas in high school, and I was having a difficult time. Since I moved back to Texas, like in the 3rd grade, I was getting bullied so bad. As you can see, I'm a dark-skinned woman, chocolate, honey, and popping. So all that insecurity is gone. So, if you know, and that's that on that. But yes, I was bullied every single day. Like, I never, in Africa, there is different. So, and the life that I had there was different than the life I have here. So when I started school, I used to get bullied by Hispanics, blacks, white, by everybody. There wasn't like, and bullying came worse from African Americans. As sad as that sounds, bullying came worse from African Americans in my case. So like I was saying, I was bullied a lot. People telling me to bleach my skin, people telling me I'm ugly, people telling me, why are you so black? People turning off the lights and saying, where's Nafi? Calling me African booty scratcher. I cannot, there was one guy where we got into an argument and he was like, yeah, I hope you know that there's bleaching things out there now, so why don't you just bleach your skin? You don't know that there's stuff for bleaching now? And that just really discouraged me. A lot of people that bullied me wanted me to help them with their homework, trying to cheat off me in the test. So I didn't understand, because the people that lived in my neighborhood were the ones that I went to middle school with all the way up until some of them I still go to college with now. So yeah, so I was bullied at a very young age coming into America. I did have an accent, and I think I still do, but I think my accent is more American than African. Bullied a lot, and bullying takes a toll. So being bullied from the 3rd grade all the way up until college, or high school, really bad, that's crazy to me. So I was bullied really, really, really bad. Got into high school. I was still going to high school, like I said, with the people that I went to middle school with, the same people that were bullying me. But in high school, it got a little less. But I was dealing with some personal issues at home and things like that just were taking me to a level that I've never been before, going through puberty, having depression, and things like that. And it got to a point where I wanted to commit suicide. So I did attempt committing suicide, but thankfully to Allah, that didn't go through. Through that whole process, I had to deal with counselors. I had to deal with social workers. I had to deal with a lot of things. So through that whole process, I dealt with a lot of people. So me wanting to become a social worker, there was one incident why I wanted to become a social worker. I've always had the dream of being a psychologist since I was in the 8th grade, but I never pinpointed what I wanted to do. It was nothing specific. I never knew specifically what type of psychologist I wanted to be. I never knew specifically if I wanted to do child psychology, family psychology. I never knew specifically what I wanted to do. So fast forward to my freshman year of high school, I'm going through all these things. I start talking to my school counselor about how I'm being treated at home and how I feel mentally and how I was just connecting. So let's rewind a little bit back to my 8th grade year. So my 8th grade year, I had voice to a counselor, things that were going on at home, how I was being treated, and how I felt. This counselor told me that everything that was going on, there was nothing wrong with it. Mind you, I don't want to say specifically what was going on, but I was being treated all types of ways. I was being degraded. I was being bullied. And at home, I have African parents, so they really didn't care about me being bullied. I just had to be tough about it. And my mental health wasn't their first priority because, in my opinion, in the African community, mental health is just like something that they just throw away, something that just laugh at. If you have mental health issues, if you have anxiety, if you have depression and things like that, it's a weakness. You're weak-minded. Really, my parents didn't really care about that. So yeah, my counselor told me that in 8th grade, and it was really heartbreaking to not have the support that I thought I would receive at school. So fast forward to my freshman year in high school, I'm doing great. I'm on the basketball team. I'm starting 5. I'm doing great in classes. I've always been a great student, not to brag on myself, but I've always been a great student. So I'm just doing great overall. But sometimes the things that are on the inside, some people know how to mask on the outside. So you don't know how I'm feeling on the inside, but on the outside, because I'm acting like everything is fine and I don't want to burden nobody with my problems, people think it's okay. But it got to a certain point where I started talking to my school counselor. So I started talking to that counselor. Her name was Miss May. And I will forever be grateful to her, because I started talking to that counselor and she started telling me the things that I was experiencing at home and the bullying and things like that. Those were not normal. Because the other counselor made me think those things were normal. And because my family didn't pay attention to things that were going on with me, they made me think that these things were normal. But she told me that these things are not normal. You're not supposed to be getting treated like this at home. You're not supposed to be getting bullied, and you're not supposed to be feeling down, and you're not supposed to be feeling these feelings like wanting to kill yourself or feeling like you're not enough or hating your skin. Because there was one incident, you know, the things that you use to scrub a foot? Like, when people were talking about how dark I was, I used that. I scrubbed my whole face with that. Can you imagine the thing that you used to scrub a crusty ass foot? I use, and when I tell y'all my whole face was bruised up, like I use it and I scrub my whole face, and it hurts my heart to think that there was a point in my life where I felt that I was not beautiful, where I felt that I wasn't worthy, where I felt that this popping skin, like this melanin, wasn't good enough, and people made me feel like that. So my counselor told me that these things that you're feeling and how people are treating you, they're not normal. Like, let's talk about it. Keep coming every day if you want to talk. If anything escalates at home, let me know. So one day, me and my mom got into an altercation, and it was over me doing the dishes. But I was applying for a scholarship, and she wanted me to do dishes at the same time. So I let her know that, you know, I'm applying for a scholarship. Give me a second. Let me go apply for my scholarship. Then I'll wash the dishes. Guess that wasn't good enough for her, because when I had to go downstairs, yeah, the frying pan in her hand was beating my ass. And you know, when you raise your hand to stop an African parent, it's like you're hitting their ass back. So I raised my hand to stop her. Things escalated, and I left the house, you know, to let things calm down. And that day, things just went downhill for me mentally. Just felt like I would see a lot of people with their moms, like, and this one thing I stopped doing, but I would see a lot of people with their moms, and I'd be like, dang, why can't my relationship with my mom be like that? But one thing I had to realize, that my mom is imperfect. Every parent is different. I have to accept her as who she is, and I have to learn to love her and deal with her, or learn how to deal with her and learn how to create a relationship with her, because everything is not the same. Every parent is not the same. Like I said, every parent is not the same. You cannot compare your relationship with your parent to everybody's parent, because you don't know what they have to go through with their parent to get to where they're at. So yeah, I just felt like, does my mom hate me? Everybody at school already hates me. So why is it that my mom's treating me like this? And then my siblings weren't doing nothing. They were just condoning it. And I'm just like, does everybody hate me? I go to school, people are still bullying me. I feel like I don't have anybody. I barely have any friends because I'm very introverted. So I'm shocked that I'm even doing this YouTube thing, but I feel like it's a part of my journey. Yeah, so I'm very, very, very introverted. I have limited friends, and I'm very selective with choosing friends. So yes, I'm very introverted. Yeah, so I just felt so alone. Like, I can't even express that feeling, but in my heart, I felt so alone. A couple of days after that, I was at basketball practice, and I was feeling some pain in my knee, because I'm about 6 foot. So, you know, us tall girls be having knee problems in any sport. So I was feeling some pain in my knee, so I told my dad, you know, take me to the store. Dad takes me to the store. gets me some medicine. I get home and I just start thinking, oh my God, my life is so just dreadful. I don't even want to be here anymore. All these things that are going on with me, getting abused, getting talked to crazy, getting treated bad. Because as the firstborn daughter in a Senegalese home, I do everything. Let me explain to you my day. I have to wake up at 5 a.m. to go catch the bus at 6. We have to be at school by 7. So I have to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Before the sun come up, I have to wake up to catch the bus. So I catch the bus, go to school, go through my 8 periods. My 8th period is my basketball practice. That's like an hour class. So when I'm at basketball practice, we have the period of basketball practice. Then we have the extra 4 hours after that of actual basketball practice. So I do all that and go home. I come home. If mom just got off work, I help her cook. As soon as I come home, though, nobody will pick me up from the bus stop, but they did that for all my other siblings, not comparing. But nobody will pick me up from the bus stop, so I'd walk all the way home. I'd ride the activity bus, walk all the way home, like half a mile home, come in, help my mom cook. Then when mom's done cooking, set the table, serve everybody their food. I wash all the dishes. Not for joke, this girl right here washes all the dishes. Then after washing all the dishes, I clean the table, clean the kitchen, sweep the kitchen, go clean all the living rooms downstairs. Because if I didn't do that in the morning, they would wake me up to go do it. So I'd have to do all that. Then on other days, I'd have to do everyone in the house laundry. Mind you, I have 3 siblings, so including me, it's 4 of us, and I have 2 parents that live in my house. So I'd do laundry for about 5 people. And then I'd have to do my homework. I know people have gone through worse, but that doesn't invalidate my struggle, because a bitch had to struggle, okay? So with all that going on, I just feel like a slave. I just feel like nobody cares about me. And at that time, I did not have a strong relationship with my mom. I did not have any real friends. I did not have anybody that was just sticking by me and, and being real and making me feel good about myself. Even though that's something you're supposed to have from the inside, it's very hard when you're growing up, when you're going through puberty, to have nobody. Because most people, at that time, you need somebody. You need people in your life. You need role models, people that are going to be strong for you so you can become a strong person or a strong woman later on. And I didn't have that. So like I said, that day, going back to the day before I tried to commit suicide, that day I was having a really, 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 really hard time that night. So I asked my dad to take me. I bought some pills. It was like a bottle of like 100 pills. Like, I don't remember if it was, I think it was Advil. So me not knowing what I'm doing, even though it's not like I wanted to know what I'm doing, because now I'm glad that I'm alive. So the night before, I took like 2 pills, to calm my knee down or whatever, and then I planned out my suicide. I wasn't thinking about anybody else but myself. I was thinking about ending the misery that I was living in. I was thinking about ending everything, because I just feel like I didn't belong here. Nobody made me feel like I wasn't important. Like, I didn't feel like I was important. So I decided that I was gonna kill myself. So the next morning, I woke up, went to school like everything was normal. At that time, I was selling chocolates. I took my bag that I was selling chocolates with, my school bag, and I brought the pills with me. So before I left, I took like about 50 pills. And then when I got to school, I took like about 40 or 45 more pills, and I left a couple of pills in the bottle. So after taking those pills, I was feeling a little, woozy or whatever. I was feeling a little, wasn't feeling good. So I went to the water fountain and I took some more pills. I wasn't feeling good, but I took some more pills. But I was trying to get the job done. So I took some more pills. And then I had class with my best friend at the time, which I feel like that wasn't even a real friendship, because it was just a one-way street. It wasn't two-way. That's why I was feeling the way I was feeling at the time, because it wasn't a two-way street. It was one-way. So like I said, I took the pills, and I let my best friend know, I'm going to kill myself. Like, I just can't do this anymore. I took all the pills already. I'm done with life. I'm over it. So I'm guessing she went and told the counselor, because when I was feeling really like down and I just wasn't feeling good physically, and I was feeling woozy, my stomach was hurting, and I was in pain, they took me to the nurse's office, and from there they called the police and they called the hospital, and I was taken into the ambulance, I don't know how to say it, ambulance, I think, best way I'm gonna say it. So they took me to the ambulance, and there was another girl in there. I can remember this like so well. There was another girl in there that had those rings that they have. My hand is so big, but those rings that they have, like those ones that connect all the way through. She had gotten her hand stuck in one of those. So they was trying to cut that off her hand. And so she rode with me in the back of the ambulance. So they took both of us to the hospital. And mind you, me and her were in the same grade. We kind of knew each other, but we didn't. Like, we would see each other around and stuff like that. So me and her were, like, in the same grade. So we both rode in the ambulance to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, they called my parents. My mom was in France at that moment because my grandfather was getting heart surgery. My dad was here with all of us. So they called my parents, and my dad had come to the hospital. One of my teachers had also come because because I speak a second language, I was put into ESL as soon as I came to the United States. So around my freshman year of high school, they still kept me in ESL even though I wasn't taking any ESL classes. So when you're in ESL, you have a caseworker. So I was so close to my caseworker that she knew that everything that was going on in my life. So they had, my caseworker had came to the hospital. The counselor I was speaking to had came to the hospital, Miss May. My caseworker's name was Miss Raven, Miss May. And yeah, my father had come to the hospital, and also a close family friend, which I call my sister, had come to the hospital. So they were all there and, you know, showing support. And I had to take this like black liquid called charcoal, basically to flush every pill and everything that I had taken out of my body. During the time at the hospital, everybody was, oh my God, Nafi, are you okay? The attention I never got when I was suffering. At the moment I decided that I wanted to take my life, people were so concerned about me, which is, to me, it's crazy. How is it that when I want to commit suicide is when you guys care more? But when I'm asking for help, when I'm begging for help, when you know that things aren't right, you don't want to help me. Everybody in my family was, oh my God, Nafi, are you okay? What's going on? Talk to us. This is not the right way to go. You can't kill yourself. Killing yourself is haram. Do you want to go to hell? Is this what you really want to do to yourself? Don't try to kill yourself. This is not what you're supposed to do. I was hearing all types of stuff. I can't even tell y'all, like, so many people from Senegal called, like, all my aunties, like, telling me how I shouldn't kill myself, that it's haram, that there's a better way to go about this. But when y'all knew that things weren't right, because you knew how I was being treated, you knew that I was getting bullied, you knew that what was going on in my house, because nobody's blind, deaf, or dumb. Nobody was trying to address the issue until I decided to take action. And you guys, like, people knew, because there's events that lead on later on in my high school thing that shows clearly that people knew what people were doing to me in this house was wrong. So yeah, I tried to commit suicide, didn't work. So that night I was transferred to the mental hospital. I don't know the correct term for it. The mental asylum or the mental ward, but I was in a suicide ward, and they asked me multiple questions like, do you feel like to send you there? They asked you multiple questions. So they were like, do you still feel like killing yourself? Are you depressed? All these things. So I was telling them, I was being truthfully honest. My dad was like, no, you need to say no so we can go home. You don't need to be here. You know, I don't know why you did this anyway. You could have done it differently. You could have talked to me. Basically trying to blame the fact that I tried to commit suicide because all these things were going on me. So yeah, I told them that I was still feeling suicidal, that I was very depressed, and they sent me to the mental hospital. There, they diagnosed me with a whole bunch of things. We had a family meeting which went left. You know, so far left that there isn't a right. That's how far left that family meeting went. So the family meeting went left before it could ever go right. Now we're better as a family. There's still a little, you know, it's a little shaken up still. But that family meeting was not what I thought at all. They recommended me that I still go to counseling. They gave me a whole bunch of things, but it never really worked out because, like I said, African families don't believe that your child could be depressed, that your child could be suicidal, that your child could be feeling these things. They push it to the side. Like, that shit ain't important. They shouldn't feel like that. They're strong. They shouldn't feel like that. That's lying. They're weak-minded. They have to be stronger than that. They don't feel like their child could be feeling these things, which is very common. Like, a lot of people are depressed. A lot of people out here feel suicidal. A lot of people have anxiety. A lot of people just have a lot going on in their head that they don't tell everybody. And some people learn how to deal with it on their own. Like, they learn healthy ways to deal with it. Some people don't know how to deal with it. And that's how it can lead to suicide. That's how it can lead to a suicide attempt. So, yeah, that experience with trying to commit suicide, the things that I had going on never got solved. Everything stayed the same. I mean, I got better as a person. I learned through experiences. I learned how to deal with my anxiety. I learned how to deal with my depression. I learned ways for myself to feel good, to mentally be stable, to feel better. I was put on multiple medicines. I was put on antidepressants. I'm not sure everything else, but I'm very positive I was put on antidepressants for me to take, and I did take those for a while, but my dad would not take me to refill my prescription. Like, after I got out the hospital for a week, I was put on those for a while. My dad didn't take me to refill my prescription. I don't know why I'm fumbling so much, but so I say all that. I give you my story to say this. The reason why I want to become a psychologist because I know a lot of young Black people out there. When I went to that mental hospital, we had a group. So many people were telling me similar stories, and it could have been changed a simple way. People seeing that you need help. Sometimes you need to say it, but sometimes people can tell that you need help. Sometimes when you do say that you need help, people don't believe it or they don't want to give you help. And there was a time where I was talking to a social worker, and the social worker knew exactly what was going on because that was not the first call that she got. And there was proof that there was something going on. That social worker told me that I was invalidated. What I had to say was invalidated. You need to prove that this was going on. I don't believe you. Are you sure that's what's going on? Are you sure that that's what your mom's doing? Just like grilling me. She was grilling me so hard. And mind you, I'm introverted. I'm very nervous. I don't talk a lot. She was grilling me so much that I really just gave up. And I was just like, you know what? Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Okay, it's fine. I told her, I was like, just delete the whole case. Just don't care. Just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. And after that, I never heard from that social worker before. And that experience and this whole experience that I just told you guys about just made me think, I don't want another Black girl. I don't want any other Black person or any other girl or any other boy to ever feel this way. If anything is going on in your house, and if I'm that social worker, or if I'm that counselor, or if I'm that psychologist, I want to be there, and I want to do my job right, and I want to be there to help. And I know there's not enough of us out there, enough Black psychologists, enough Black social workers, enough Black anything. And I want to add to that. I want to be one of those people. I know there's not enough Black psychologists, because when I'm looking for a psychologist, I'm looking for somebody Black. No offense to anyone else, but I want to be able to relate I want them to be able to relate to my issues, to my cultural issues, to my racial issues, just to know my struggle. And for me to be able to talk to them and them to understand and be able to give me sound and good advice based on knowing my struggle and knowing who I am as a person. So I want to be one of those people for any young girl, any young man, any family, any children. I just want to be that person because I had that, but at the important points, I didn't have that. And it just, that motivates me every day. I remember I told my teacher about what happened with the social worker, and she told me, you know one thing you could do? If you don't like what's going on in the system, you change that system. And since that day, I was really strong in being a psychology major. I've never wanted to change my major. I do want to, I am minoring in African American history, you know. But yeah, so I've always loved psychology. That's the reason why I chose psychology. I feel like the experiences I've had have strengthened me in choosing psychology and the reasons why I want to do what I want to do. I've had bad experiences with social workers. I've had bad experiences with counselors, even though I had that one good experience with my counselor and my caseworker, with my ESL caseworker. That doesn't invalidate the other bad experiences I had. So yeah, that's what made me want to choose psychology. Yeah, and I love my major, as hard as it may get, because psychology is a hard major. People try to act like it's just, oh, it's psychology. Everybody has psychology. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's hard. And that's on period, ho. It's hard. On my channel, I feel like there's not a lot of Senegalese YouTubers out here. So I want to be one of those. I want to start that. I want to have more of those people out here. I feel like a lot of people can relate to my story. And I'm going to be talking about colorism, culture. I'm going to be talking about sexism. I'm going to be talking about mental health. I'm also going to be talking about multiple other things. Just those are the things right now that I have written down that I know that I'm going to definitely be talking about. In my next video, I will be talking about colorism. I'll be talking about bleaching. I'll be talking about colorism in Senegal and the culture on that. And I'm going to be comparing the differences between the colorism even though colorism is the same overall, I think like in different aspects, there is different here in the United States than it is in Senegal. So I'm going to be talking about those different things. I am Senegalese American, so I am going to be giving my different views on both of those things. And I will be having people on here with me also. But thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that just gave you a little insight on what my channel is going to be about. Again, thank you for listening. Bye.